Thanks, Robin. Yeah, so I wanted to introduce Robin Blandford from D4H. Robin is currently on the other side of the pond at the moment, over in Ireland. And as a sort of a full disclosure, I am my consulting firm has a financial relationship with D4H as a referral basis. So obviously I won't be voting on anything or anything like that. But we have that with other firms as well too, and I'll make those clear whenever they pop up. But it's a really good neat thing. I think you'll find it interesting if you're not familiar with it, and I hope the folks on the call and the Zoom call will press Robin a little bit for some of the features that are added, because this is a very robust package that has both operational and steady state capabilities that are very applicable to planning sections. So with that, over to you, Robin. Hopefully Spencer and Robin can share these videos or screens. I don't know how that works.
Yep,
Yep.
you can see my screen now, and you're welcome to share this with anybody.
Oh, great, great. Thank you.
Yep, yep. Well, thanks everyone. I did hear you talk about St. Patrick's Day there, and yeah, I'm coming from Dublin, to the hometown of that. You can probably tell from my accent. I'm a member of your association. Just joined this year. Looking forward to the conference. I'll be in New Jersey, hopefully with meet lots of you there. My background is in the Coast Guard here in Ireland, so I'm Irish Coast Guard, and I'm still in a voluntary capacity there as a deputy officer in charge. So quite familiar with domain expertise around the whole piece, as well as a technology background. So very briefly, if you haven't heard of us, we're operating for 15 years now. I'm the founder of the company. I came up with the idea in my role in the Coast Guard. And once it was commercialized, it quickly spread all over the world. And at this point, I think the software is used in 36 countries. About 60% of our revenue is in the US. So the US is really our main market. We have a US company, we have US employees. You've got me in Ireland tonight, though. Okay. The types of customers we deal with, it's anything from largely is a mix of emergency management and corporations using the platform. And you can kind of see some of the logos, everything from large transatlantic airlines, a number of those. I think we have 13 airlines on the platform, all the way through to a huge number of EMAs across the United States and Canada. A lot of the federal USAR teams, all the large disaster response pieces. Our premise kind of here is simple, and that is that in response, we see information being captured across a whole range of different tools. Obviously, some people have solutions already, but a lot of people converting are onto their first software for emergency management. A lot of people still are. And so they're getting content by emails, they're getting text messages, they're getting memory sticks being transported around with files on them. And what we're trying to do is bring that all together into one coordinated system. So the demo I'm going to do today is of this coordination system, this I think you can see my mouse there, this top piece of the pyramid. We do have other layers of tools. So we have a full qualification credentialing system for people. So that's, are your people ready? Are they drilled? Are they exercised? Do you have their attendance? How many EOC activations have they done? It's a full kind of profile and stats on all of your people. Equipment is the same piece, all the equipment around emergency management, whether it's consumables or be it bunks and generators and anything else that's needed and stored. Ready, is that ready, checked, inspected? And the bottom layer is an analytics package we have, which looks at all the past data, all the past incidents, and tries to help you with grants, funding, making cases for budget, training, etc. But we're going to focus, because there's such a short time today, just on this coordination system, because it's the most applicable thing to you guys. The message really that you'll see is we're the easiest to use platform out there. And if you Google emergency management software reviews, D4H will be #1 in the easy to use category on all of the platforms. That's our big piece. And for the 15 years, we have held back and held back and held back to retain simplicity. And that's our big piece. The other thing you'll see is the adaptability and the customization of it. Michael suggested I do something around ESF functions, and we'll build something today together, custom in the software, to kind of show you how easy it is to build your own pieces. Everything's a web platform, so it's on mobile. It's also on web browser, and there's no IT sort of requirement needed. You can connect it up to your credentialing system, so your authentication system, so you can sign in without a username and password. But otherwise, it's completely standalone. Okay, so I could answer pricing questions at the end of no problem. Our pricing's pretty public too. Let me jump over to the product. So this is what it looks like. I'm on the web version, obviously, and as I said, the mobile app is fully functioned. You've got everything you see here too. I'm going to press Start New Incident, and that lets me run a pre-plan. Now, pre-plans are things like a pre-filled incident action plan. So you might have a flooding IAP ready to go, and you've just got to finish off components of it, right? So you can pre-build all this kind of stuff. Picking flooding versus mass casualty. Flooding might turn on my status boards for all my shelters and damage assessments. Mass casualty might turn on my casualty register, so my triage list and my hospitals and the status of all the hospitals, right? So you can configure this software up yourself to respond in any way you'd like to an incident. Now, what I'm going to do today, I'll just do tornado as an example. So actually, we'll call it the All Hazards IMT Association tornado, so I can find it again. Okay, I'm going to press Start Incident. And when I do this, it's going to create what we call a channel. A channel is a segregated off area to manage this incident. Now, some of you will already have spotted the style of this. It looks very like the ICS forms, right? So the whole software, the user interface is designed around a very simple, like paper-based forms. Okay, so I'm just going to put in a location. I will put it at Atlantic City, shall we? Although I know that's not particularly tornado land, but we'll drop it here. We'll put it at the hotel somewhere where we're gonna be. Okay. And I'll go into mapping a little bit more, but this comes licensed with all the Esri ArcGIS imagery already in it. We license all of that in the product, and lots of other layers available too. So when I set the location of this incident, it's now starting to pull in some weather data and other things in the background. This situation report is completely customizable as a template. Some people put in their 201 as a template here. Others want to build their own completely custom sit rep, or it's to replace a board or dashboard that they have. Okay. So just know that the form we're looking at, you can build absolutely anything. It comes blank and you can drag and drop fields, and I'll show you how that works. So I've put my cursor into this field called summary, and I just want to show you that if I type in testing and take my cursor out of the field, there's no save button. That word testing is now on everybody else's screen instantly. There's no refresh button. There's no waiting for that to load anywhere. It's absolutely instant. If you've used Google Docs and you can see other people typing, it's exactly like that. You'll see everyone else editing in here. And so as I work through these different fields, it's instantly updating the screens, mobile apps, and everywhere else. Okay, so you can see me doing this and kind of how straightforward it is. I'm just going to take off another tab here in the background, and I'm going to operate this as another user just so you can see what it looks like. So you'll see if you look at city impact, it says low impact. If I change it to high impact, it's gone to high. Down the bottom here, it's opened a conditional section because I said it was a high impact incident. So you can build out all of this logic in all of these screens, and it's very easy to do in the admin area. So I've said 2 fatalities, 25 injured. I'm just going to make that 26. You can see it automatically updates. One of the questions we get is, how do we know who edited what? Well, firstly, everything on the left side, and these are all your own custom boards and everything else. Everything here is permissionable. So you can say who can read it, who can write it, who can delete in each of these. So certain, maybe 2 or 3 people will have permission to edit this. And within that, you will see a full audit trail. So this is absolutely fantastic for after action reports. You've got every single change to the software, at what time and by who. And you'll see when I pick up one of the ICS roles, it'll have my current role as well. So if I was to change this to 3 fatalities, you can now see there at the bottom at this time, and you're seeing my local time. Robin changes from 2 to 3 people. Okay, so that's captured across the whole platform, everything we're doing. Normally at this point, once they've got the situation they're dealing with defined, people will come up the top here and press share by email. And that will push out a really nice graphical HTML email. You'll see it here like this to everyone's inbox who's on that mailing list or on that distribution list. And they're getting very nice standardized updates coming in. Any questions so far? I'm very happy to be interrupted, so feel free to do so. We're good. Because I picked, say, flooding or mass casualty or whatever that was at the start as my pre-plan, it's built a command structure for me. That's what I designed it to do. And you can see all my roles and teams. Adding new roles is this easy. So I could add liaison there, and you can see it's that simple. I could spell it, right? It's that simple to add a new role. So, you know, it's really flexible, this whole thing. Okay. So I'm going to just assign myself into incident commander. And you'll see I come up here with a green dot. That means I'm online. If I wanted to bring in my, say, my intelligence chief here, and I know I want a guy called Alan. These are all my users. I pick Alan Wilson. And Alan now gets a notification to say, hey, Alan, you're the new intelligence lead, intelligence chief for this incident. And I'd see him come online when he comes online, joins from his mobile or anywhere else. The whole platform is really flexible. If you had a technical expert walk into your EOC, they're never going to be a user on the system. I could say it's Eddie there, okay? And Eddie is now a person in this system, just like me and Alan, who are users, even though he doesn't have access. But he's got a profile. If I'd added an email address, he's on my distribution list as an option. So it's really good at just picking up data as you're going, picking up information, trying to put a structure on it. There's everything in here for all of the forms. For your 207, you might want to draw this. You can obviously pre-draw all of these things as well. I'm very much just doing this live in the demo to show you the functionality. And again, in terms of when I'm talking about it being real time, if you watch another user drawing on this, so if another user is editing, you can just see them drawing there. Just see that? And that's like what it looks like when another user is working away. Now we've defined the situation. We've looked at the roles and resources we have. We're going to start building out our IAP. Now, if I set this all up ahead of time, I probably have a sort of part-filled IAP, or I would have imported some of the forms already. I'm just picking out from my form templates here to do it manually. So I might create a new folder called operational period 1 with my folder. And of course, I can have multiple folders here. And in here, I'm going to start at 201. You'll see all of the forms look like exactly like you saw earlier. So just put my cursor in here. I can type testing, press tab, I'm onto the next field. It's that simple and straightforward. And you can control all of the properties of this. I'll pull in my org chart. It's taking a snapshot of my current org chart. And then you'll see we've even got electronic signatures. So at the bottom here, I can go in, try my best of being an artist, sign my name. Okay. So there, that should be loaded. Let me jump back in there. You should see my signature. Yeah. Okay. So this form is now locked and no other user can edit this. Okay. You saw earlier how easy it was to share something by email. I just hit share by email. I can snapshot it, take a version. I can generate a PDF of it to download or print. But I'm going to show you this share by public link. So this creates a secret URL that I can give to anybody. So I'm going to put that into the chat on Zoom. And this is a very simple way of sharing when you've got a mutual aid situation where you've got interagency going on, another county coming in, the municipality emergency services, something like a campus. And so you've got a live view of my 201 there. If that's worked, you should see it. And you can do that with any screen in here. I could have sent you my situation report from the start. I could send you a shelter. I could send you anything I want. And your link will stay live for the duration of the incident unless I revoke it or update it. Okay, but as you refresh that page, you get any updates I make. So yeah, you can see here, I'm just going to start at 206 just quickly. Okay, you can see we've got things like linked fields. These are pulling in variables or information from the situation, so it can pre-fill in information automatically. You can also link data back, so I can pull out, if I had a board called medical aid stations and I was listing my stuff there, I can autofill my forms with that. So you can set these things up to automatically sync. But again, just to show you, I'm going to add clinic A. I can search for an address or drop the pin on the map. And you'd have this stuff sort of pre-filled in a lot of known scenarios. Just putting in some garbage here to show you that I can build out my 206 quite easily. And just with the limitation we have on time today, I'm not going to spend too long in here other than just to show you I can then stitch everything together into a single IAP. So I can take my operational period 1, everyone's worked through their forms that they're responsible for. They've signed them off with their signature. And you can see they're all stitched together now to one. Okay. And what we see quite a lot of the time is people taking the form templates. So all of the form templates come in extension packs that we have. And you can build your own extension pack and you can share it with others. So we see a lot of people saying, oh, I've modified this slightly for our scenario or whatever we're doing. And they save it as an extension pack and they email it to their contacts, and they can just install it, their set of forms into their version of D4H. You can see a couple of other forms hanging around here. So I'll just open a hazmat report, for example. Look, it's a completely different form for, just to show you that it's possible to do really anything. And you've also got map fields. So I'm just going to draw a circle here, but it could be a more detailed polygon. Okay. And again, I could take this. So what I'll do, just check a couple of things. What do we got here? Yeah, I won't spend too long here. I'll just generate the PDF so you can see it. And it's the same as if I pressed email or shared it to you by a link. And everything the system generates, it's white labeled to your organization. You won't see our logo on it when you export anything. This will all be your logo. And you can see how quickly I put together a form, for example. Okay. So we're going to build some custom forms in a minute. I just want to introduce you the concept of that you can do this. If you're on to the next period, you can take this, you can press duplicate, name it operational period 2. It'll have your starting point of all your forms, and you can update them for the next period. Logs. So this is really of course, you can have your 214 form in there, and a lot of people will have their 214 and it supports it perfectly on a traditional form. This is a little bit more of a digital way. Logs may be kept. It's a full chronological log and orbit trail of the incident. So if I would say flooding reported at Harbour Front, you can see that's gone in timestamp for my role. So just so you can see me post in some items. When the minute changes, it's going to start another box here. And if any other user came in, it's going to start doing that too. If you're on a mobile device, you're able to select an image from the gallery or just point and click the camera, or I could just select one here. So I'll just put an image in so you can see it in the audit trail it generates afterwards. You grab this.
Is that log unique to you, or is everybody putting in information? And if they are, does everybody's information go in the same minute, or is it going to differentiate between who entered that?
Yeah, good question. I'll show you now. So when another user comes in, it's going to put in another section heading when they start posting stuff. So it will separate it out. I can't demonstrate that with me as a solo user on here, but you'll see, and I start tagging against other things. So I'm in the main log here, and I'm just posting generically. I'm going to show you some of the specific logs. There is the ability to search and filter it, so I can filter it by anything, which I'll show you in a second. And I can even keyword search, or I can look up time ranges. So let's look at that. If I go back to roles and I go into the incident commander, I have a log here for the incident commander. If I was to type in here, I'll just type in testing and go back and look here, you'll see what's going on now. So this log went into the incident commander's log. And I can do that on anything in the system. Okay, so there's even a log for each of my forms. So if I was on my 206, you'll see there's a log here of which I can say this is completed. In fact, I can mention people, so I can say at logistics team. So when I pop that up, I can mention you by name, by team, or by role. Okay, so at logistics team, that's anyone on the logistics team in any of the roles. This is completed and ready. Okay, just for example, that mentions the logistics team, and over in the logs here, you'll now see there's a post about the 206. Okay, so what you're getting here, and that's what I'm saying, a lot of people will still be doing a traditional 214 form, which you can do as a form for everybody, no problem. But this is another way of sharing information. It's also tightly interlinked to the audit trail. So as any information is coming in, you can also see the manual posts coming at the same time. And you'll see this builds up a little bit more as we get into some of the other modules. It's exceptionally good with a lot of users, and you're getting lots of updates coming in chronologically, and it's auto updating and scrolling with context. We've got these concepts called task boards. Task boards are normally used for predetermined tasks. So you'd have things that you want to do. Very simple for users to come in, assign these out to teams or roles or people or anything like that. It's off to Eddie now. Okay. And they'll get notified. It works really well. But you can create tasks on the fly. So you might say gain entry to zone B. River. Okay, and I could assign this to the operations team, and they'll get a notification that they've got this new task. Okay, so you can see it here, and you'll see as tasks get updated, you'll see if you watch that top bar, I'm going to complete a task off, and you'll see it move. Okay, so everything's updating in real time, and you're seeing how everyone's going. These are called status boards, and I am going fast today just to give you a good sense of what the platform does. First thing I'm going to do is just show you shelters as an example, and then we might build an ESF capacity one. So I know my shelters in advance of my incident, so I've got them all preloaded. Now these are going to drop into Fresno, but you'll see them here on the map. Okay, so here are my shelters, and I know where they are, and I had this all preloaded on the map where they are. Okay, and as this incident begins to progress, I start to get information. Either they're updating it themselves in here because they're users, or because I'm talking to them. You can see I've set that one open. So I'm just going to set a few here so you can kind of get a sense of what it looks like with a bit of data in it. And go here, 20 open. Okay, so you can see then we're getting capacity and occupancy numbers, and I've just built this, like I was talking about. You can build anything in the admin area. You can build these little apps without any code. It's just drag and drop, and you can share them with other people. Okay, behind the shelter, I've got a form that I've designed. Okay, and you can see here that it could be anything, and I've created it so it goes red and green. So that's a rule I've set up. And I actually set another rule to say if capacity equals occupancy, go amber. There it is, amber. Okay, so you can build whatever you'd like here. It'll update, reflect everywhere on the map, etc. As you go to. Right. So let's try and build a board. I mean, obviously you can see some other example boards here. Oh, a question before I move on was, could we register guests? So this came up on a demo at the end of last week. we call them guests. We built it, there we are. So I've got a board called guests, and I could say new guest. I'm just going to call this John Smith. And you'll see I could be working through John Smith's data sheet here. I'm going to say he's in shelter. And look, there's my shelters. So you can create relationships. So I'm going to say he's in East Vincent shelter. And I'm just going to add a Jane Smith. And I'm going to say she's in shelter. She's in East Vincent. Okay, so let's go back and look at our shelters board. You see it's creating relationships across the different boards. Okay. And I can just click straight in. Now, I've also got a log for John Smith now. John is reporting that. And remember that this is all permission based, so maybe not everybody has access to read guests. Therefore, in the log, they won't see the guest updates. Okay. The same with my shelters. I could go on the East Vincent shelter. Instead of the map, I can view a log and say, closing at 2 p.m. tomorrow, moving guests to, was it Thornbury or something like that? Okay. And that is all sitting back here for the incident commander, seeing whatever you're permissioned to see, you'll see in this flow of everything chronologically. And the same on the audit trail. Okay. So let's build, with the few minutes we have here, let's build an ESF board just so you can see this. So I'm going to go up to the admin area, and the admin area is what every admin of any product. So it's, if you purchase D4H, is what you can do yourself. You don't need us in the middle. We do run a full support service, a full training service. There's everything included. But this just gives you a nice sense of it here of what you can do yourself. So I'm going to go into my templates and status boards. I'm going to create a new status board and I call it ESF. Michael, you mentioned impacts on ESFs, right? So I'm going to just pick a icon for ESF. So I'm just going to use these boxes for now. And I'm going to say, to keep this simple, just going to build out a form. So I'm going to say with an ESF name and category, and then we're going to call it a status. And this, I'm going to really oversimplify this just so you can see it. So I'm going to put in normal, say impacted with solution, solved or recovered or whatever. So just, and these could be lifelines, these could be anything that you're building out. So just, I've just, what I've got so far now, this is very basic, but I've built just so you can see it. Back over on my tornado, incident settings, and I should have a board called ESFs. There it is. Okay. And now I might have, for example, here, ESF1, transportation. Okay, and I'll just add a second one. So you can see on each of these now, I can pick normal, impacted, and then I'll go, and you'd have all this preloaded in. Obviously, you can be creating them as you go. So now here's my impacts. Now, maybe I want to set these as colored. So I go back to my admin area. I'm going to say normal. So I can go into my colors here. When status is normal, be green. When impacted, when impacted is red, danger. Impacted with resolution, what I called it, with solution. The amber. Cool. So now I've got some colors on here. And again, each of these have a log, right? So I could jump into my ESF2. I can build any form I'd like here. I can open my log and now have spoken with, you know, estimating resolution by Or maybe you might put some other fields on this form on your ESF board. So let's say we also want response plan or something. So I'm going to go into the admin area. So I'm going to say where the pluses are, where I'm building fields. So I'm going to say below the status field, I want response objectives. And I'm going to make that a multi-line text field. And then below that, we'll go prevention plans, multi-line, and we'll say to the right of that, just making up some stuff here, mitigation plan, mitigation, I'm going to make that a checkbox, mitigation plan approved, mitigation in place. Okay, press save. And if I double click into one of these, I've now got that template. Reopen them after. So and then back on this screen, you can have any columns you want. So let's say on here I wanted we'll put the response objectives on that screen and the mitigation checkboxes. Press save. So you can see me building these out right mid-incident. And actually one of the talks at the Atlantic City conference is New Jersey EMS Task Force. They've done an amazing job with this. There's lots on our YouTube channel kind of featuring their build outs and how they responded to COVID using D4H. It's really good. Everything also interlinks into the map, which we'll just kind of wrap up with. So I know an ESF doesn't have a clear single point on the map, but I'm just going to show you that what it would look like. So if I go back over to my admin area and I'm going to add another field to this form called affected area, and I'm going to make that a map area, save. So my ESF form now has affected area, and I'm going to draw in just a very broad few areas here. ESF1. So we'll say transportation is actually I'll draw it as a line on the road. Okay. And public works. I know I'm really making this up because I know it wouldn't have a single location, but I just want to show you the concept of how custom you can make this. So there, I'll just put on a dark layer. And so as this updated, so if you imagine that this, you can zoom this out as much, whatever big screen you want to put this on in your EOC is no problem. And you can see it on your mobile device. If this was sitting up on your board now, and I'm going to start saying transportation has now become impacted, you'll see it go red. Okay. Public works is now impacted with solution, it goes amber. Okay, so these things will just update on your screen as you go. All this flows up to your central map. So this is going to have all of your layers. So if I had shelters and anything else on here, you'll see everything on. You've got all your different layers. You can turn on or off all the different content. You can drop notes, anything else you want to draw on. You can import layers. You can import shape files out of Esri. It's very, very flexible, and you can see it's simple. It's just point and click stuff. We do also have a whole set of weather data, so you can put in rain radar, wind, everything else. I mentioned we're pulling in weather at the location. You can see currently cloudy in Atlantic City. If I press send to log, I get a timestamp of it over here in my log for my after action report. We also have weather at the point, so this is looking for significant changes in the colors or the chart, so you can pick up quickly where it's going to rain, wind's going to change, whatever's going to happen. Okay. What else is worth showing you? Library. This is where you can pull in all your bookmarks that are relevant. You might, links to camera systems, directories. You can pull in PDFs. Anything you upload in here or that you have as part of your pre-plan that's already automatically imported in as context for you, then it's all snapshot into our final product here at the end. So when I'm going to finish this incident, it's going to pull all that together. So this is the dashboard. Again, it's fully responsive, so I can put it on as large a screen as I want. I can drag it around and reorganize it, and you can control all of the widgets in terms of numbers you want, and it's all automatically updating. Let's say this incident wraps up. I'm going to go to my audit trail. I'm just going to manually generate this audit trail so you can see it. So I could push this out by email, last 12 hours of updates, or generate a PDF. I'm just going to do the PDF quickly. And then move on to any questions you have. That's just loading. Well, that is loading. Oh, there we go. So here's the audit trail from that incident. And you can see it's got everything from who created the incident, everybody joined, every single bit of data changed, everything I drew. You'll see all the images uploaded. So this creates a full audit trail of everything. This is the centerpiece of a larger zip file, and that zip file is all the snapshots, documents, task printouts, logs. It's all packaged up for you as, very detailed. This is what happened and when. We can push that over to that incident reporting platform. This is where you can look at all your past incidents. So you can put in a date time range and say, okay, what happened in this area at this time? So I could filter it and say, show me anytime we did an evacuation in this time range. And these are all your custom categories, not ours. Hit go, and it would redraw this map. And you can even see our tornadoes already up here as a draft. I can click into any of these instances and see all the information from that past one, but it also produces a whole set of charts around patterns and trends in the incidents. So again, I could say, show me evacuations by season, show me year on year, are we increasing or decreasing wildfires for the county or city or whatever it might be. And there's endless stuff in here, so I'm not going to hang around in it too long, but it breaks down loads and loads of the data all automatically, and it can link into our training products around when are you next exercising in it, have you scheduled anything, and look at your people's attendance across things. So I hope that's a really quick rundown of a tiny slice of what we do that was kind of relevant, I hope, to your roles. Really glad to take questions. I can talk about anything from pricing to yeah, anything you'd like, really.
I mean, I'll start us off briefly. I think it was remarkable. I don't necessarily have any questions, but holy cow, having looked at some of the other products out there, that was by far the easiest to use, easiest to customize. Very, very impressive.
Oh, thanks for that. I'd say we come from I would call it cloud native kind of environment. The product has always been on the cloud, so we're not migrating off a large on-premise technology stack like some of the older competitors would be. I mean, if you look at Web EOC particularly, that's one of their challenges is coming off that, and we're up against them every day. Like they're the big competitor in the space, so we know it quite well. They know us quite well. Different end of the stick. We're very much. I mean, I classify them as having started at the FEMA level, working down to state level, and then there's some people in smaller organizations struggling to use it for themselves and they purchase it themselves. We're at the other end, right? So we're not suitable for FEMA as a large incident. I wouldn't say that's what we're built for. It's not a large scale ticketing system. We were built from the bottom up. So it started out with my search and rescue background, right? But it's into counties, cities, and we do have some state level activity. But that's very much where we're suited for.
Does look very user friendly. That was impressive.
Oh, thank you. So what I'd say, the pricing you'll like too, because we're also very affordable. So the bottom level package is $5,300 a year. That gets you something like 25 users and 2 concurrent incidents. I think it's something like that. Next one up, 50 users is just under $10,000 a year. There's add-ons for premium support and lots of other things that you can add on, but it's very affordable to get in. Fairly large implementation, like a large city with a couple of hundred users. You're talking about 28,000 a year. So it's a very affordable product to get started with too.
Oh, that's
Our
wonderful
YouTube
stuff.
channel has, our YouTube channel has loads of content on it too. We do live streams with all of our customers every week. We do a live stream with a customer and they share their screen, show what they're doing in the product, interview them how they operate. And we try and be as transparent and public as possible with what we're doing.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, we'll open up to any other questions. I'll when this kind of finishes recording, I'll download it and post it with all those others that we've got out there, and make sure we share it with the membership. And I'll share a link to your YouTube site in that email out to our folks. And heck yeah, thank you for joining us. Any other things for Robin? And okay, wonderful. Thanks for joining us, especially across the pond and the time differences and all the things. So
no problem. Look forward to hopefully meeting some of you at the end of next month.
outstanding. Well, I don't have much else. Any other good of the orders from anybody? Okay. All right. Well, I'll follow up with an email going out, and I think Chris, I saw your email. I'll go direct with Andrew, and we'll make that the next one. Cool. Thanks all. Travel safe to back east, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Yeah, bye-bye.